What's going on, guys? So today I'm going to share with you ways that I stay focused. And trust me, I don't stay focused all that often, but when I do, there's definitely different strategies I utilize to buckle down. Just some definitions. I want to define getting distracted and what it even means, just because in our day and age, with this century and the number of apps we have with TikTok, Instagram, LinkedIn, everything, it's so easy to get distracted. And I'm guilty of it all the time. But the point is, you need to know when you're distracted, and maybe sometimes you want to be distracted, and that's fine. But oftentimes, you also want to not be distracted. You also want to enter zones where you are indistractable. And that's where I want to say you want to do things that optimize traction, which is actions in the direction that you want, and you want to minimize distractions, which are actions away from the direction that you want. So becoming indistractable, honestly, if I had to put my money on anything, that's going to be the skill of the century, primarily because if you look at any of the YouTube videos that get a bunch of traction these days, it's all about staying focused. Because guess what? All of these apps make a killing off of ensuring that you get distracted all the time. And so learning how to not be distracted when you actually want to focus is going to be the skill. So today I'm going to go over 5 ways to make that happen. The first one is more time for concentration, less time for communication. I know that actually one of the biggest things that's a distraction is text messages, emails, phone calls from people you may know, people you may care about. All of that is very important, but the unfortunate part is, if you attend to every communication the moment you get it, it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. And the reason I say that is I get a text, I respond, I get another text, I respond, I get another text, I respond. And so communication creates communication. And while that's good, sometimes when you want to focus, you need to have communication off. And sometimes you'll be so surprised, but the world is going to be okay without you. It's very tough for me to swallow, especially because I'm like, oh, if I don't respond to this, they're going to think I don't care. No, they'll be fine. Okay. The world will be fine. If you need to focus, it is okay. The way I do this is that there are certain times of my day that I respond to emails, specifically at night and in the morning. I don't actually respond to emails in the middle at all, just because I'm in the hospital. Sometimes I'm seeing patients. Same thing with messages. I am horrible at text messaging, but you'll know, people who have texted with me know I tend to respond usually at nighttime, and I also respond to all of my messages at once. And the only reason this helps me is because I try to minimize communication to the point where I'm responding to multiple things at once, so I can ensure I get the biggest bang for my buck and also give the person the biggest bang for their buck. So for example, if someone's asking me a question, I'll not only answer that question, but also preemptively answer the next few things and then say, hey, if you want to carry this further, here are some actionable next steps that we can do. Next point I want to emphasize is be liberal with the delete button. Oh my God, I wish I'd learned this lesson sooner. You know how Gmail early on was taking pride in that you never had to delete anything? So I'm so used to not deleting anything because I'm a hoarder. But I realized not deleting just adds more complexities to my life. If I see something that's spam, I delete it. If I see something I've responded to, I archive it. The more simple I have my life, the easier it's become for me because I've just gotten so used to getting inundated with 80,000 things. So now anytime I get an email where I'm like, this is not relevant, delete, 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 delete. Makes life simple, keep it simple, keep it going. All right, so that's my first tip. Second tip is use apps on our schedule, not on the app maker's schedule. I love TikTok. I love Instagram. And believe it or not, I'm actually on there a lot. And I love being on there. And so days when I want to goof around, I don't actually have a schedule. I go on there whenever I want to. But oftentimes when I need to study, like step 1, or maybe you're studying for the MCAT, I actually have distinct times when I go on the apps. And that, again, happens through the Pomodoro technique and also through this thing called BlockSight. It's a Google add-on that I will link in the description below. I also use this app called Forest, also going to turn that in the description below. The notification for all my other apps, including text messages, is all off. If someone really needs me, they'll call, but even then, my calls are usually on silent. And the reason for this is when I really want to buckle down, I want to minimize any and all distractions. No push notifications, no sound notifications. I work for 25 minutes and then I go over everything in my 5-minute break. 25 minutes, go over everything in my 5-minute break. I discuss all of my Pomodoro techniques in the video above. I've made a technique video on the Pomodoro aspect, but the general gist is I almost always have minimal notifications on, especially when I want to become indistractable. So this actually brings me to my third tip. I strongly recommend you guys download Timeguard. It's actually a great website. I will also link that in the description. And the point with this is I use this a lot during my step 1 and step 2 studying where I physically blocked off sites. And this actually worked really well because sometimes these sites are so good that even when I don't know it, if I'm just going on the internet, sometimes the first letter I used to type was F just because I would be going to Facebook. Other times I'd be going to Instagram. And just by having this time guard thing on, it minimizes the amount of time I can spend on websites because it'll say, if you want to go to this website, you can only go at 8:30. If you want to go to this website, you can only go in the next 25 minutes. It's a very small thing, and you can definitely override it if you want to. But the point is, it gives you that little reminder that you need to realize, like, oh shit, I really shouldn't be doing this. I should really buckle down. And so this is just one of those tips I strongly recommend. And believe it or not, if you use this for enough, I used it during my 3 months when I was studying. It becomes second nature. You just stop going to the sites because it becomes like the Pavlovian technique of going to something, getting a negative stimulus, and you're like, all right, well, why even do it, right? So that's my third tip. Fourth tip. This is probably the most important tip of this entire presentation. Actually, the fifth one might be the most important, but this is so good. I feel like so proud that I somehow discovered this on my own, and I've used it ever since. It's called temptation bundling. It's so good. It makes you so much more productive, and it also makes you indistractable. What you do in this is you like kind of mix something you don't like with something that you do like, and it makes the thing that you don't like a little bit more fun to do. So for example, I'm not always the most clean person, and so getting me to clean is often really tough. But the way I've done it is I mix it with podcasts. So one day a week, what I'll do is listen to a bunch of podcasts that I've been behind on, but I'll do it at the same time that I'm cleaning. And by having fun podcasts with cleaning, I now associate cleaning with like a Zen mode. It's actually really fun. The same thing happens oftentimes, like if I'm brainstorming for an essay, I will do it when I'm going for a walk because sometimes being outside, being next to people, seeing people, it's actually way more fun than just being inside and trying to brainstorm, which in and of itself to me is a very bad activity and very grueling. So try that. Next time you have something that's distracting, oftentimes it's distracting because it's keeping you away from something that's tough for you. So mix that thing that's tough for you with something that's kind of fun for you. Whether that's, I don't know, going for a walk, whether that's actually going outside, whether that's just watching your friends or hanging out with them. Mix two things, one good and one bad, and you will be so surprised. For example, I walk over 6 miles a day, but I often do it while I do flashcards. So the good part is I feel good about my exercise and I feel healthy, and I mix it with these flashcards, which I don't like. But at least the part about it that works is that when I'm doing these flashcards, I get to feel a bit healthier. And so it kind of is like a win-win situation there, you know? And I'm going to end this whole thing by saying you should only become indistractable, because the only reason becoming indistractable is really important is because by becoming focused for a smart amount of time, you can then focus on things that matter more to you. The only reason I really buckle down when I really want to buckle down is so that I can get shit done, so I can spend time on other things that I genuinely enjoy, like talking to my friends, talking to my family, making all of these things my priority, such as exercising. And if I can't do that, then there's no point in becoming distractible, because then I should just be distracted all the time because I'm already like not doing the things I want. So the reason why you should be focused on becoming indistractable is to make time for things that matter to you, such as mental health, physical health, relationships, and outside of relationships, those external relationships, right? Family and then friends. So the whole point of creating traction and minimizing distraction is to allow you to focus on things that matter to you. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, drop a like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.